Illinois State Police shaking hands with ICE agents at the Broadview processing facility. Well, isn't that horrible? Yes, you have some stalkers following around government agents and recording them shaking hands. And as we all know, ICE agents are automatically classified as Nazis, which means that these cops are they're catching fascism. Like it's contagious, I guess, right? Is that what they're meaning to say by this? They've caught the fascism. Depending on who you ask, of course, cops were always fascists. I mean, look at Black Lives Matter. A couple cops involved in that, and that meant that every single one of them in the entire country was a racist, and they all deserved to be launched into the sun. That's the way people talked about it. Everyone was completely up in arms, Democrats saying that every cop in the country should be removed, that we didn't need them anymore. Top comment. Maybe he can tell us who they are. We know who he is. So you're saying that you know who the cop is, and you're going to track them down and interrogate them for information on another government agent. And then what are you going to do to that government agent? It doesn't matter. I mean, this just doesn't seem like the sort of thing that you should say out loud, especially not when it's posted on the internet and trackable. Kind of seems like it's probably something illicit. It's not the kind of thing I would want to say on the internet. And yet, that's the kind of thing that gets you to the top 1% of Reddit. In response to that, another top 1% making fun of the intelligence of ICE and the cops, and that person has 20 consecutive posts about Trump. The cops support fascism. Cops are anti-labor. Cops are union but anti-labor, which I guess means that Reddit hates unions. They seem to be in favor of them when it's like Amazon and stuff, though. I hate Illinois Nazis. God, I've seen that so many times. It has to be some sort of bot meme. Like, there's no way. I mean, there is a way, though. That's the thing. I can totally see these weirdos who go out there and jazzercise out front of an ICE building actually thinking that they're making a difference by going on social media and posting, I hate Illinois Nazis. They're all pigs. They're all Nazis. Chuds. Thugs. Like, I can legitimately see some people doing that and thinking that they're making a difference. If you're a cop in 2025, then everyone knows what kind of person you are. F cops, F ICE, F fascism. Frankly, I think that the government needs to do something about Reddit. I mean, it's just too far gone. I'm all for free speech, but there's a point where you allow people to say whatever they want, and that becomes violence. It becomes hate speech. I mean, look at this. This is probably a bot post, right? I mean, you'd have to assume as much. I don't know if the picture itself is even real, but it got 31,000 upvotes, 2.5 thousand comments, and a lot of people. Well, first of all, I should mention that it's posted on r/pics. Again, left-wing echo chamber. Pictures. A subreddit just called Pictures is a left-wing echo chamber that's attacking the military, attacking the government, etc. And so many people in this thread are saying, just like the top person here, that they're former Marines and they can't read, and I've heard worse, and blah blah blah. So many former military in this thread, which I find odd, really. I mean, not impossible, but it sure is a lot of them. And I'm gonna go through a few of them just to look at the most important ones, really, that I noticed. Obviously, I didn't go through 2.5 thousand, but I noticed some that they're just peak Redditor mentality or bot mentality, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, a billboard defaced in Baltimore, defacing the Marines. So you see a lot of people asking what the Marines did. Of course, people are just going to say that they're now with ICE because they helped with the LA raids or whatever, and so. Here's one of the posts I wanted to show. The OP themselves, they say they're a Marine. They're just posting what they saw. They didn't take the photo, but they are from the area. So again, we don't even know if it's a real photo. They just saw it and posted it. But they say they're a Marine, and they're responded to by someone claiming that they're an Afghan vet. And they said, here's what happened. Last year, y'all deployed active duty troops to LA. That was this year, apparently. And had them perform, I say apparently because they're wrong, perform arrests and act as shields for ICE. This makes you aligned with the people zip-tying American children, so of course it's always children, and raiding preschools, of course, to send teachers, of course, to concentration camps, of course, in the minds of civilians. See, older vets went abroad to fight Americans' enemies. Your generation apparently wants to treat Americans like the enemies, so don't be surprised when you're not getting thanked for your service the way we did. They didn't make the choice to go to LA and zip tie children in preschools. And I know they're saying that from the minds of American civilians, or civilians in general, but they seem to be saying it with this level of contentiousness that goes above and beyond what I think that a veteran would have for a fellow soldier. Kind of feels like that's I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's a lie. I'm just saying, like, if it's the truth, would you really want it to be the truth? Because then that would mean that you could be held responsible for every negative thing, or even something that people perceive as negative, that's ever happened in a military scenario off of American soil, right? It's an absurd mentality, and it's not entirely wrong. That's the thing. People do look at it like that. The civilians do look at it like that. This thread is pretty much proof of that. It's wild how many, because you can't just assume that everyone's a bot. There's got to be some, even if it's only like 20%, then 20% of these people are seeing this, and some of those people are believing it. All these posts of people claiming they're Marines. Honestly, go down through it yourself and look. I mean, it's a lot of posts to go through, but there are so many people claiming that they're Marines. I find it hard to believe that an active duty Marine would claim that they are Nazis. As a Marine, I'm good with it. We've heard and endured much worse. Someone responds saying, "Oh, sure, you're the victim here." No, you're the brave, super strong soldier. The pettiest people you could ever imagine. Good. People need to start feeling the heat, or at least be embarrassed for following along with these fascist pricks. That's just so embarrassing. It's just so embarrassing. I'm always shocked by how people use the word Nazi for anything that they seem to think as their opposites of their opinion, and totally forget what Nazis actually used to be. I mean, I feel like it's playing down the horrible crimes that happened in that times. Right? There's a reasonable comment. And then it's responded to with, "Do you think the Nazi Party overnight came in and began their horrific crimes? No, it started the same way this administration is doing, exploiting social and economic instability," same thing the left did, "propaganda and organization," same thing the left did, "nationalization and resentment," same thing the left is doing. I mean, lastly, political maneuvering and violence. Political maneuvering. And how did the left wing not do any of these things exactly? So you're saying that you can pre-accuse, which is pre-accuse. You can pre-accuse people of being late-stage Nazis. So they're saying right here that they are not currently 1940s Nazis, the Republicans. That's what they're saying. But that they will become that. But then you can say that about anyone, can't you? The left wing has done all of these things. The left wing has made their lines in the sand. They have segregated us and them. They have used political propaganda. They've brainwashed people. The left wing has done all of the things that fascisms would do, right? What's the line here? Because they say so. And you can go down through here, and like I said, there's countless posts that claim that they're ex-military and they're okay with this. There are quite a lot of people who are mentioning, I mean, there's a lot of posts in here, so there are quite a lot of people who are mentioning that it's ridiculous and such, but it's 2.5 thousand posts. Quite a lot of them are anti-military, anti-America. And again, that's why I think Reddit needs to be audited here, because unless Reddit is run by the government as a propaganda machine, then it's being used by someone else's government as a propaganda machine. I just can't believe that all of these people are warm bodies. I just can't. I don't want to, at least. I don't want to believe that. So here's another thread showcasing the escalation of the extreme left. They started off by making fun of red hats and saying totally harmless things, like accusing them of being PDFs, which is definitely not defamation and definitely shouldn't result in like tens of millions of people being sued, which would shut them up very quickly, but that'll never happen. No. Now it's about attacking every government agent, every government agency, even the military. America at large, really. America as a country are just bad people now, and in general. And, well, obviously aside from the Redditors. And here we have them obviously throwing insults towards Trump and so forth, and Hegseth and all that. But we have more than that. We have people saying they want to demolish the U.S. They hate democracy. It's time to kick the US out of Germany and Europe altogether. They are not allies anymore. At this point, we have to start thinking of them, which is America, as Russian spies. Funny how this happened at exactly the same time Putin has started engaging in hot war with Europe. Talking about engaging in hot war with Europe. Almost as if the US is allying with Putin. Europe has to snap out of it and consider the worst case scenario, that it isn't just the US abandoning its post-war leadership of democracies. I mean, this is so weird to me that people think Democratic Party equals democracy and Republican Party equals fascism. There's been so many Republican leaders. But putting that aside, it's not hard to imagine the US is already sharing intel on Ukrainian troop positions when this is how they treat allies like Germany. Sadly, you're not wrong. Trump and his cabinet have already hinted at military actions against Denmark. This effing administration is infested with Russian assets. This can't be a coincidence. I think we need to prepare and get used to not only the US not helping, but the US helping Russia. If true, that's a 5-alarm bell. Europe should assume the worst and plan accordingly. Tighten EU coordination, stockpiles, and procurements. Have Berlin, Paris lead NATO Europe back channel. The ultimate armchair general, armchair dictator of the planet, actually. And how many of these people who go to r/Europe are American, do you think? How many of them are European, even? There are clear parallels. Tweet allegedly from real Donald Trump that says, Liberation Day in DC, we are taking our capital back. Capital, not capital, which someone points out. It is quite ironic that he says that, considering his past as a businessman and his love of opulent, luxurious things. But the response is, hi, German here. We remember that Adolf acted from within against his own citizens. The alarm bells are ringing so loudly. Open the window. You can hear me. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Like, if they're ringing so loudly, why do they need to open the window? Why do they need to hear you? Are you telling them that the alarm bells are ringing? If that's the case, why? Like, that, I'm not sure that even makes sense. Maybe it's a German expression that doesn't properly translate. I don't know. That's not the point. The point is that if you're going by this kind of description, then doesn't that mean that anyone who's ever aggressed in a war or whatever has then acted against their citizens? I mean, yes, when the Nazi regime, they kind of overthrew their current party and they shifted towards war and all of that. They drafted people into war. If they refused, they were punished for treason and all that. Yes, yeah, you could say all that. But at the same time, the UK attacked people, right? France attacked people, didn't they? I mean, everyone's attacked everyone else, right? So is the country acting against their own citizens when they do that? Is that what we're saying? Why is it only treason in this particular case? Why? Now, the real reason I wanted to talk about this wasn't this at all, really, because this is so generic. There's honestly, like, I had to struggle even to say that. What I wanted to talk about was one particular comment here. OP is a bot. Reddit is heavily astroturfed. I do not know if OP is a bot or not. I looked through their comments. It was a bit hard to tell. The response is what I wanted to talk about. The response from Do Not Lie to Me, which I'm not sure if that's like a randomized name or what, but their response to the claim that OP was a bot and that Reddit is heavily astroturfed was saying, regardless, it's an alarm to wake up. Wake up? You may not even be alive. Yes, if actual people, would just wake up, they would realize that even when something good happens, even when someone they hate does something good, they can't just let it be. They can't even ignore it, let alone say something good about it. Trump signs emergency declarations for floods, and people, it's almost as if they hate it. They're saying it's a surprise. OP saying that he's been weirder since he got Zorond, which is this fantasy they have that Mamdani went to the White House and T-posed over Trump, exerted dominance over him, and then Trump's become his bitch since then. I mean, that's why they voted him in. That's why they wanted him to win. But the amount of people who are seemingly upset that Trump did something good. Like, okay, what's the catch? Oh, he's going to gloat about it. Oh, maybe he thinks it's Washington, D.C. It's sad that I'm surprised by this. Isn't that your own fault? Really? I mean, it's not like everything Trump's done is wrong. What's sad is that you've nestled yourself so deeply into an echo chamber that you think that everything he's done is wrong. Trump just doing his job. Caught him at a weak moment. Someone must be worried about midterms. Did he confuse DC with actual WA? seems oddly off-brand for him. Yeah, that's pretty shocking. And someone saying an autopin did it instead of him. Can you just accept that he did something that you like? You don't have to say anything else positive about him. You don't have to say he was the greatest president ever. Just admit that he did something that you're on board with, or don't say anything at all. That's an option as well. This could obviously go on forever and ever and ever. Reddit's been making these posts for years and years and years, but I'll end it with this from r/holy shit history. This was probably accepted by the mods and stuff in good faith, good or bad. That's the way it was, and there's no reason to try and hide it. But in this particular case, I believe it's a bot post intending to incentivize an insurrection in the USA with the intent, obviously, to destabilize the USA, the West in general, so that China or Russia or whoever's doing it, Middle East, whoever's doing it, can continue to do whatever they're doing without Team America, World Police in the way. So this thread says, in 1946, a local election in Tennessee was run by corrupt politicians who used deputies to arrest voters and hide the ballots in the jail. World War II veterans, newly home and fed up, picked up rifles and surrounded the jail until the officials inside surrendered. So they're saying that Trump wasn't rightfully elected and that people need to pick up guns and attack the government. That's what they're saying. You don't even need to read between the lines. That's what they're saying. Let's also ignore the fact that the left wing is the anti-gun side. So they think you shouldn't even have guns, but they're also telling you to take the guns that you shouldn't have and use them to attack the government, which is, well, that speaks volumes. But what speaks more is the OP. They have a 1 month old age, created November 11th, 2025. They have hidden posts, comments, and everything. And their name is Fuck Reality. I mean, that's about as AI as it gets, right? Now, maybe they're not a bot. Maybe that's just all coincidence. But they made an account a month ago and they're posting stuff like this. I mean, isn't that probably propaganda, don't you think? Don't you think they're probably trying to start an insurrection? They're probably trying to incite violence, murder, death, destruction in the USA, and people love it. 8.4 thousand upvotes, 359 comments. More people should know about this event in history. You probably didn't know about it until just now. Why should more people know about this? This is the most tiny, microscopic nothing burger of history. A couple flipped over cars, some corrupt politicians. Oh my God, corrupt politicians and angry peasants? That's never happened before. Only in America, guys. Only in America. And you know why? Because all American politicians are Nazis, unless they're left-wingers. More people should repeat this event in history. Just explicitly calling for people to do it. All it takes for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. Oh, they love quoting other people. Well, if I quote them, that means they're a Democrat. They're a famous person, and I agree with this quote, which means they're just like me, which means they're a Democrat, which means they're a hero because I'm a hero. And then the OP gives an entire breakdown of it with a source from Wikipedia. It was not a protest or a riot. It was an armed standoff between local law enforcement and World War II veterans over election corruption. They explicitly said themselves it wasn't a protest. It wasn't even a riot. And this is effectively what they're telling people to do. This is what other people in the thread are responding to. They're saying that, yes, look, I'm in. They're just straight up saying to do it. Second Amendment in action. I'm not sure the Second Amendment justified. I'm not sure the Second Amendment says that you're allowed to use guns to attack the government, even if they're corrupt. Now, of course, I'm not protecting corruption here, but I'm also not incentivizing a revolution. I'm not trying to start a civil war. I'm trying to do the opposite. I think everyone should, wind their neck in, open their eyes, and realize that they're probably talking to bots. I mean, there's a lot of really good chat bots out there as well. Like I've listened to so many YouTubers where I'm like, are you even a real person? And a lot of like fake news. This isn't like. Hopefully, this doesn't come across as news. I don't try and present it as news anyway. But I was watching one about some farmers in Britain driving all their tractors into London or wherever, and there was this. They were taking all this footage from all these different sources, and they put an overlay over it of like a camcorder overlay, and it's like, it's obviously not, it's not your footage. Why are you putting that on it? It's just you're trying to present it as if you're a reporter and you recorded all this? And then they had like a fake AI reporter woman show up on screen who it was so blatantly AI and does like a couple motions and then disappears. But the voice of it, that's the thing that's kind of alarming, is that the voice of it is so close to sounding human. Still sounds a little bit weird, a little bit off, but close enough that a lot of people will believe in it. And that video had like 400,000 or 500,000 views when I saw it, and it had so many comments from so many people that didn't live in the UK. Well, American here, wishing you guys well, God bless. Oh, Canadian here, Australian here. So many people, and when I say people, I'm not even sure they were really people, commenting on this video, which was entirely AI, aside from the footage of the farmers protesting. And I don't even know the truth. Like, how can you trust that? How can you trust the truth of that? I mean, you can go to this YouTube thread right there and look it up for yourself. You can come to your own conclusions about it. You can decide that I'm AI if you like to, but I think that Reddit is a force for evil right now. It is, and when I say evil, I don't mean like satanic evil or any kind of supernatural evil. Just bots, psyop agents, and just bad actors. Maybe people who just want to watch the world burn, that are trying to start a civil war in the West, and they're attacking. They're attacking everything now at this point. Like, obviously, they'd be attacking the president. They're attacking all the branches of the military and government. They're attacking anyone who's in any way away from the left wall. I mean, even moderate left wingers, moderate Democrats. Like, it's just tiring. It's so tiring. I'm not sure if anyone else is, but I am very tired of it. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.